What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen, back with you with Colts Law. And today we're going to discuss the Colts and Bears joint practices, the injuries that have really piled up for the Colts, the effect that it's had on the team thus far, what we're going to be looking for going forward, and then kind of eyeball ahead to tomorrow's matchup against the Bears. Now, before we get started, please don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag the notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. Obviously, tomorrow I will be doing a live game reaction to the game. And then, of course, you'll be able to react to the exact same video, the exact same stream of the game that I'm reacting to. You can watch the same one in my Discord as I drop the link to the Discord during the live stream. So fun for everyone all the way around. Had a few people jump in last week against the Bills, man. We had probably, 15 or so people extra jump in and hang out, maybe more than that. But it was really fun. DJ Abcool jumps in right away with the injury thing, talking about Shaquille Leonard. What is up, DJ? And that's something we don't know because Shane Steichen didn't address the media yesterday after practice. Generally, Shane does not address the media every day, after practice, usually like after every other practice. I don't think he's going to be out long. He wasn't carted off the field like some. So I don't think it's going to be a long time, along with Samson Ebukam. I don't think he's going to be out a long time either. Some guys that, other guys on the offensive side, like Will Fries or Ryan Kelly, I don't think they'll be out long. Now, obviously, some major injuries. You may not think it, but Ashton Dulin was a huge loss for the Indianapolis Colts, right? Got dropped on IR. He is done for the season. Now, is he big for the wide receivers? Not huge. He's a great blocker at wide receivers and could come up with some plays, but it was his special teams abilities that's going to be missed, considering how important special teams are on the field and how things have completely changed, not just for the Colts, but NFL-wise, right? Different rules and stuff. Plus, we got a new special teams head coach, a lot of new faces on special teams. So, losing Ashton Dulin as that guy out there to be a leader for special teams is a huge hit, in my opinion. Huge hit. What up, Van Albright? Appreciate you being in here. I don't think Shaquille Leonard will be out long, as I said. Now, will he play tomorrow's game? Probably not. I expect him to be back probably. Now, he'll probably miss tomorrow's game because you don't play in the preseason if you have any kind of ding or, and you're already a starter. If you know you're a starter and the team and the coaches know you're a starter, and you get any kind of a little ding or bruise, you're going to miss the game. So it could be anything from a thigh bruise, which I'm telling you, deep bruises, they hurt like a mother. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Like a lot of pain. I remember DeQuell Jackson telling me about how he had a deep bruise one time on his thigh, or was it his side or something like I can't remember. But I remember him saying that he had to have a shot. It was that painful, right? But it could be all the way up to a bunch of stuff. I don't think Shaquille will be out very long. I don't think Will Fries will be out very long. He just had a strained calf. Ryan Kelly still dealing with that foot off and on, so that's why he's been out. Ebukam limped off the field, so I did see that was a reaction to the Ashton Dulin. That was a reaction to the Ashton Dulin injury, right? Washington is a speedster, right? He is an absolute barn burner. but he's not going to contribute much at wide receiver, okay? As a lot of people want to think. Dude drops too many balls, right? I watched a lot of games of Pittsburgh over the course of the last 3 years, and his hands are not the greatest. I think he'll be more of a special teams guy. He will be probably he's going to be fighting for the 5th and 6th spot at wide receiver, absolutely. And if he could show us that he could be a gunner, on the outside during punt and kick returns, or maybe even do returns himself, then maybe that's a possibility that he makes the team. But I do think that he's a situation where I would rather have at least four different Colts that I could think of at wide receiver out there, even some tight ends. I'd rather have tight ends out there than James Washington. Okay. But it'll be nice because he is a burner. That's another question. See, here's the deal. Who's going to start tomorrow, right? Who's going to play in the game tomorrow? It's already been established. Justin Fields is not playing tomorrow. Matt Eberflus already said he's not playing. You would think Justin Fields needs some snaps as well, maybe not as much as Anthony Richardson. The question is Anthony Richardson going to play? I would assume so, since he's a rookie and he doesn't have much experience. But Shane Steichen wasn't available for media to announce whether or not he was after practice yesterday. So there's no guarantee we'll see Anthony Richardson. Now, I'm going to say there's a 90% chance that we will. I think he should play, not only play, but play a bit. But the big question, why? How long? Especially now with the injuries on the offensive line. Oh, my goodness. This is where the injuries, come into effect, right? Ryan Kelly out. Will Fry's out. And those two guys were replaced at center by Danny Pinter and at right guard by tackle Arlington Hambright. And apparently that's where all the pressure, they played horrible during practice against the Bears. Both those guys. Apparently, from what I'm understanding, Bernard Ryman, Braden Smith played really, really well both games. They handled the edges fine, right? But pressure up the gut hurt a ton, along with a lot of penalties, right? Penalties from guys who are, during screens and RPOs and things of that nature that the Colts just ain't used to running. And they're getting illegal man downfield type stuff, right? Where, your offensive lineman on the RPO or the screen is getting further than 5 yards downfield before the ball is thrown or before the quarterback takes off with the ball or something, which you can't do, absolutely cannot do. The inexperience is going to kill us in that situation. So I'm a little worried about that. If we still have Pinter and Albright, right? Hambright, not Albright, Hambright. If we have both of those guys in there, and I mean the RPO, that's you can't run RPOs well unless you shore up the middle of the line. You can run an RPO if the edges aren't doing well, but our edges are doing fine. It's the center of the line, but there's a guy up the gut, then that screws anything up, everything, no matter what. So that's a huge question. Now, from what I'm understanding also, there were 3 situations. Okay, so Anthony Richardson on Thursday did not look his best, right? Did not. He was like 2 of 6 or something like that during the team drills, if I remember correctly. Not good. So that's a bit of a worry right there. But a lot of that had to do with penalties and things of that nature as well, which cut their drives down. So, but that's a little bit of a worry with the whole simple fact that, yes, the Bills. Hold on, DJ. The Bills did blitz, and the offensive line handled it well. He was only pressured twice the entire first quarter. All right, 2 pressures the entire first quarter, which means he did a pretty good job. The offensive line itself did a pretty good job, but with Danny Pinter out, or with Danny Pinter and Hambright in at center and right guard, that's scary. That's a little bit worrisome. Also, a running back group. I mean, they're fairly young outside of one, ex-Arizona running back that's on the team now. So that's scary as well. Because the one thing they're going to have to be able to do is block, right? The running backs are going to have to block really, really well in this upcoming game. I like what so far I've liked what I've seen from Anthony Richardson. I think he's grown immensely. Okay. And I want him to have a bunch of snaps, but at the same time, you can't scheme too much in a preseason game to help protect him. You want to be vanilla, so you can get those one-on-one, mano-a-mano matchups across the offensive line and the wide receivers and stuff like that, right? You want to see that. So if you're going to play a bunch of vanilla and not scheme help, and your guard and center is playing like garbage, thank goodness Anthony Richardson's time to throw last week was the 3rd best in the NFL during week 1 preseason at 1.7 seconds time to throw average. Because it sounds like to me he's going to need it against the Bears. I mean, this is the same team that last week had 8 sacks against the Titans. Now it's against the Titans. It's against the Titans. And the Titans had legitimately the worst offensive line in football. You thought the Colts offensive line was bad last year? The Titans was ranked the worst in the NFL. They gave up 1 billion sacks, and they couldn't run block, and they had all kind of issues. And they still have these issues, okay? You go watch some Titans podcasters and stuff, or their news or something of that nature, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, and don't forget Yannick Ngakoue. I don't know if we'll see Yannick Ngakoue in the preseason game. I don't think you'll see a lot of starters in the second preseason game. Usually it's the 3rd preseason game that you see a lot of starters. You might see a few since Yannick is new to the Bears team, right? He might get a few snaps, but I don't think you'll see a whole lot out there. But here's something I want to talk about also. You know who the starting lineup defensively was for the Indianapolis Colts during practices yesterday, right? Now, obviously, it was Samson Ebukam, but he went out with an injury. He limped off the field, mattered in heck, slamming his helmet on the ground because he was ticked off he got hurt. Grover, Taven Bryant, obviously, because, Defoe is still not practicing, and Quiddy. And Quiddy apparently had a little bit of a ding as well yesterday. The linebackers, Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, The flash from preseason week 1 was starting at Mike all week. Grant Stewart. So we're going to probably see Grant Stewart with the starters. Okay. Then, of course, Dallas Flowers, Darrell Baker Jr., right, were the starting corners. And Kenny Moore was the slot. And it was so great. So great to see Julian Blackmon and Rodney Thomas out there at safety finally this past week. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Can't wait to see that. So our secondary is at least healthy. Okay. I'm really happy about that. But our front seven's got some dings. Our offensive line has dings. That's not a good thing to have. You don't want to have your injuries up front. But it's not just an Indianapolis Colts thing, though, right? This is happening across the league. You're watching guys go down with Achilles and ACLs and all kinds of little injuries across the board, right now. Big names going down mainly because joint practices are so physical. People get chippy during joint practice, especially the second practice of the joint practice. Teams get a little chippy, and you see some fights break out. There were quite a few scrums in yesterday's practice. Thankfully, no one took their helmet off and started whacking somebody. All right, that's all. Just saying, But from what I understand, someone got thrown out of practice due to their involvement in the scrum. I got to remember and look and see who what was. Give me a moment. I got a bunch of notes here. Trying to remember. Not seeing. Well, yeah, I'm not seeing where it is on my stuff, so I'm sorry. Anyhow, players that did not appear to be practicing on Thursday's practice. Moss, obviously we already knew that. Jelani Woods, still not back with his hamstring. Ali Cox, ankle. Ryan Kelly, foot. Ogletree is dealing with a shoulder. Avery went out. Gone. We already know about all that situation. Will Fries with a calf. Mike Strawn left early yesterday. Ricky Jean Seals did not practice with right ankle. Ibukam had a lower right leg injury. Did return, at least, to practice. But still, with an injury, most likely you won't see him in tomorrow's game. Shelton and John talking about Dayo Odengbo. This is a prime opportunity for him. If they don't play Samson Ibukam because of, the injury that he had to his lower right leg yesterday, then he should get a lot of time. And I'd like to see him against the Bears, Now, granted, we're not going to see Justin Fields, like I already said. Matt Eberflus has already said Justin Fields won't be playing at all, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But we did get a lot of defensively and during practices. Apparently, the Colts got a lot of pressures and interceptions against Field over the last couple days. The defense has looked really good against him. even though in full team sessions. Now, on 7-on-7s, when, there's no real pressure or anything of that nature, he went 8 for, he perfect. He was perfect. 8 of 8. Right? But in team sessions, he did not do as well. Right? Ended up getting intercepted and got sacks and things of that nature. So that's good to know. Anthony Richardson had his first that I can remember fumble on a scramble against the Bears. I don't remember him ever fumbling prior, but apparently he fumbled in this practice, which is something to keep an eye on. Now, it's the first one, and, you don't expect to see it a bunch. You've only heard about it one time that I know of. So I don't think it's going to be something huge. Well, let's just keep an eye, make sure another one doesn't happen back to back, especially during the game. But yeah, really excited. Have you guys already hit the like button? I know there's 10 of you in here. Appreciate each and every one of you. Well, let's talk about tomorrow's game a little bit. Let's talk about tomorrow's game. Again, I want to see some vanilla playing. I don't want to see, if we're going to scheme anything, it might be tight ends come in as a fullback to help with protection, right? Maybe that'd be the only way I would help with scheming, just to help, in case Pinter or Hambright is not able to hold up their end like they weren't able to the entire week at practice, with the absence of Ryan Kelly and Danny Pinter and Will Fries. So I could see some tight ends being pulled in there. You're not going to want, even though Kylan's probably your best blocking tight end, I don't think you want to bring him in as the tight end at fullback. I would keep him. He's by far our best receiving tight end, right? And him and Richardson has had a pretty good connection over training camp. So I want to see our secondary again. Apparently, like I said, our secondary practiced very, very well against the Bears. I want to see them step up and do it again. We were all very worried about the cornerback situation. And with the fact that they have played above expectations over training camp, I want to see that continue in games. Now, granted, we're going to see a lot of simple man coverages, because that's what Gus is going to run for these preseason games, so we can get, a look on how these corners handle one-on-one matchups to better evaluate guys. But it's good that we've gotten some guys back from injury. It just sucks that we get someone back, someone gets hurt again. Someone comes back, someone else gets hurt. I'm just glad most of the injuries that we've had are just dings and bruises, right? You got a calf strain or a hamstring or, something of that nature, where you might be out a week or two. That's fine. I could deal with that. I'm hoping Shaquille Leonard's isn't serious. I don't think it is. He got off the field on his own. That's always a good sign, right? But apparently, from what Donald, I think all the corners have done a pretty good job. Now, have they shown inexperience? Yes. All of them have shown their inexperience has shined at times. where they made a mistake. And you're going to make mistakes. The problem is learn from those mistakes. Don't make them multiple times. But even Dallas Flowers, I think Flowers has done a fantastic job, overall. Did he make a mistake in the Bills game? Yeah, against the starters. It's going to happen occasionally, especially when you're young and you've got what? You played what? 2 or 3 games last year? So it is what it is. What's up, Dragon? Appreciate you. I think the Colts and Bears game, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot. It'll be fun to watch. It's a situation where it's another game to watch with Colts and blue, but I don't think that it's going to be something that you're going to be like, ooh, and awing over. I think there's going to be a lot of checkdowns in this game because you got to remember the type of defense that Matt Eberflus plays. He runs an umbrella type defense. We all know this as Colts fans. He doesn't allow big plays down the field. He makes you accept the checkdowns. That's it. Accept the checkdowns, and then he hopes that you make a mistake that he can capitalize on. That's how he runs his defense. So Anthony Richardson is going to have to be patient, not worry about hitting Alec Pierce on 50-yard bombs down the field, right? He's going to have to take the underneath routes from, the tight ends or Michael Pittman Jr. or Josh Downs and Isaiah McKenzie, right? I want to see that. And I want to see him do that. I want to see him take the ball just like he did last week with the 1.7 time to throw. Go through his progressions quick, hit the quick guy, try to get yak yards. That's what I want to see against the Bears from Anthony Richardson. Every once in a while. Now, we also remember Matt Eberflus is really, really good against scrambling quarterbacks. He doesn't allow them to get out and run for a ton of yards, at least generally in the first half of games. He doesn't do that. Usually he's really good at keeping all of his defense's eyes on the backfield. When the quarterback starts to take off, then they can adjust to it, So I don't expect Richardson to have a bunch of rushing yards in this game either. I want him to play smart. I want him, and I know this sounds horrible, I want him to play like Gardner Minshew. All right. If you need to use your athleticism occasionally to get away from some pressure, that's fine. Absolutely. You'll probably need to with, Pinter and Hambright at on the offensive line directly in front of you. But get the ball out quick, hit your checkdowns. And that's what I want to see. I would expect so. I'd say there's a 90% chance. There hasn't been any confirmation on that. But it is a fact that being a rookie and inexperienced, he needs the snaps. Steichen has said so multiple times. I think he's playing tomorrow, even with the banged up offensive line. I would be sort of shocked if he didn't, in all honesty. In all honesty, I'd be a little shocked if he didn't. Now, I want to look up here. Sorry, I need to. What are we doing? Why is that doing that? There. There we go. All right. I had to look up the depth chart. You know who we're going to be playing against, right? Even though we're not going up against Justin Fields, we are going up against Philip Walker, right? The ex-Colt quarterback, remember? Little dude, move around in the pocket, got a pretty good strong arm, right? Very mobile. So that's going to be a little bit of a test for the Colts defense. Now it's not just Philip Walker. They also have Nathan Peterman. Yeah, absolutely. Tyson Bagent. I don't know. He's a undrafted free agent from this past year. But you'll probably see a lot of Philip Walker and Nathan Peterman in this game against the Bears, since Justin Fields ain't playing. So I need to see improvement from our O-line. We need to see that. Because as we saw with Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, injuries happen. Guys are going to miss a game here and there. It's very rarely do we see something like 2018 where all 5 starting guys play all the games straight back to back. We need some guys to step up. It's a good thing. I mean, they're trying a rookie offensive tackle out at guard, right? Good. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And I don't expect him to be playing like a stud early on. And he played like crap during the practices against Hambright, played like crap against the Bears during practices. But it's all about getting reps, not just reps for yourself, but reps with the guys around you. Braden Smith has to trust that. Has to trust him. Okay? Just like Quentin Nelson has to trust Danny Pinter in order for him to perform his job at his optimal level. So these guys have to step up and do something and play well. Donald Shelton in here talking about how he needs to set his feet. He doesn't have a problem setting his feet. He has a problem redirecting his feet when he throws the football. I'm not seeing a problem with him setting his feet. He'll set his feet or he'll throw off his back foot again also, right? Like, I'm seeing instances where his feet are this way and he'll throw the football but not turn his feet fully to the direction that he's throwing. Because you can start your motion before your feet are fully turned, but your feet need to be pointing in the direction that you're throwing to by the time you release that football. Okay? And in fairness, a lot of the times when he was throwing off his back foot, there was pressure in his face. It's not like he could have stepped up into the throw. Okay? So that's fair. But yes, there is still some footwork he needs to work on. Should he take heat off the ball on short 5-10 yard passes? If it's too close, it depends upon the guy, right? If you got slot receivers, guys in the slot, no, you don't take the heat off the ball for that. Okay? They're used to it. They can handle it. Let them catch those heaters. Okay? Because they're in a situation where it's catch and run. You need to get the ball as quickly as you can to them. Let them catch. Let them create yak yards. They're used to that. Don't throw a heater to your running back, though. You know, that's 5 yards away from you in the flat. You know, so that's the thing. Young tight ends, they aren't used to doing it. You know, don't throw them heaters 5-6 yards away. I think you could do that to Kylan. I think Kylan is His hands are good enough now that I feel like you could probably do that for him. But other guys, you gotta be that like that. Did you hear? Even Lolita died. Oh my gosh, too many injuries. Now, to be fair, the average life expectancy for an orca, female orca, is 50 years. She died at 57. Okay. So, yes, this is the orca that Jim Irsay was planning on moving out to, I think it was Oregon or something of that nature. Putting her in a more open area that's kind of roped off so that, she could, is more of nature rather than, captivity. So, but yeah, I heard all about that. People making this big thing about it, but a female orca's average life expectancy is 50 years. She passed away at 57. It's not like, she died young. The longest that an orca has ever known to live, female orca, I think is 90 or something of that nature. Not going to talk about that, reserve. But yeah, pretty fun. So I'm not expecting a whole lot. I'm not expecting fireworks in the Chicago game tomorrow, but I still will be here. I will be reacting. And those of you here will be able, if you're part of the Discord, you can watch the same exact stream that I'm reacting to at the same time. So yeah. Yes, Richardson does throw high a lot, but a lot of that has to do with him throwing off his back foot. If you ever watch his high balls, it's because he's throwing off his back foot. And if he steps into it, it's not as high. And that's just general NFL quarterback coaching knowledge. You step into a ball, you step into a throw, and you get that downward hit with your pinky, right? And your forefinger when you release. And that ball will ever so slightly take the downward trajectory, right? Just a little bit. So, whereas on your back foot, it's more likely to sail on you because it doesn't take that downward trajectory look. So, it's more about him. He's wanting to get rid of the football as soon as he sees an opening, rather than resetting himself into a situation where he can set his feet and throw the football, right? He's like, oh, it's open. I got to get rid of the football now, even though he can't step into it because there's pressure right in his face. Now, a lot of that has to do with, you know what? Offensive line should, do their job a little bit better. I thought they did fine. Maybe he shouldn't take 3-step drops all the time, right? We'll see more 5-steppers. I'd like to see more 5-step drops. That way he could step into the offensive line, step into the pocket more, and, have that open space in front of him to where then he can maneuver while he's stepping forward to avoid the outside rush and be able to throw the football while stepping forward rather than off his back foot. Just a thought. I'm no quarterback coach by no means, though, So, and we also got to remember he looks 10 times better now than what he did when he was in college. So I'm going to make the assumption that if he's gotten this much better already, I'm figuring by week 3 or 4, he should look even better at that point. So, heck, with live preseason games, he's still got 2 more to go. Probably look even better then by week 1, right? So, yeah. Guys, appreciate you guys. I think I'm out. I'm not even going to predict who's going to win. I just am predicting that it's not going to be a whole lot of fireworks. You know, you're not going to see Anthony Richardson hitting 60-yard bombs left and right. You might see one, and that's about it. And that's if he's making the checkdowns and forcing the safeties up. You know, rather than keeping their umbrella coverage. Well, I appreciate you guys. Please don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. Share this to your favorite social media. Check out my Discord, which I don't have a link in here, but you know, it's there. You'll be able to join in. You could check out my live game reactions. Also Patreon, which is only $5 a month, and get Patreon specific content. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law, and as usual, have a good one.